Hello everyone. We completed how the TRIZ method or the procedure we generally implement, and we discussed about how we come to the solution. We discussed the procedure and one case study also I have presented in the previous sessions. So in this particular session, how we can upgrade this to bio-inspiration. That is how we are upgrading the TRIZ method to the bio-inspiration, specifically changing some parameter matrix. That is, you have 39 parameters, right? So in Bio TRIZ method, actually, we don't use that many parameters. But whatever the approach we follow, that is first we work out the TRIZ method, then we search for the bio inspiration. That is fine. That will definitely work for many cases. But there is another approach in which we reduce the generalized parameters through which we are understanding the system. Then we introduce the new kind of contradiction matrix. That is a that's a higher level generalized contradiction matrix. I'll say. So in order to uh, know that one, just let me present the screen. So in this particular case, here you can see the Bio TRIZ. So this is the contradiction matrix, or you can say modified contradiction matrix for Bio TRIZ method. It's not a TRIZ method; it's a Bio TRIZ method. That is upgraded version towards the bio inspirations. Okay, upgraded version towards bio inspiration. So that is about the Bio TRIZ method. So here you can see the lines, how nature works, and what is the real basis of this Bio TRIZ method. Human technology solves problems largely by manipulating the use of energy, whereas biology uses information and structure, two factors largely ignored by our technologies. Okay, information and structure. So most of the natural things are structurally driven or information driven or together, but most of our systems are energy driven. Okay, that's why most of the natural systems you see very small power consumptions, very small energy consumptions. Whereas in our technologies, artificially developed technologies, these are all like a large energy consuming systems if you compare with the biosystems. So that is the reason why this is the idea behind this one. Human technology is mostly energy dependent, whereas the natural or the information and structure dependent or structure based things. Okay, that is the reason why the contradiction matrix in the Bio TRIZ method introduced as 6 basic parameters to understand any biosystem. 6 basic parameters to understand any biosystem or system. So both way you can use. You can apply to normally your problem, or you can understand your problem with respect to these 6 parameters, or you can understand any biosystem with respect to these 6 parameters. Okay, so here if you see substance is nothing but your whatever you can touch, you can feel, or which has mass, which occupy the space. Okay, so when that substance is there with the mass and with occupancy of space, you need to consider its structure also. Am I right? That matters because substance will have some properties, substance will have characteristics, but still its a structure, how it is structured, also matters, because of that structure also you are going to get some properties and characteristics. At the same time, you need to consider the space. Space is again a parameter. You just try to understand. When I say space, you may think that what is there in space? Everything occupies the space. But if show you two things, this is the remote of TV, and this is something like one potty. Okay, both are occupying space. But what is the real difference comes in is the symmetry. Okay, you have to understand space means what is the symmetry, what is the geometrical shape that is occupying the space. Okay, that is the geometrical shape. Why most of the things are, why tree is only cylindrically growing? There are reasons. It is adaptability. It is adapted to the earth conditions, gravity conditions, environmental conditions, the sunlight conditions, so many things. Okay, that's why that the cylindrical structure, the cylindrical posture or cylindrical geometrical shape or cylindrical geometrical occupancy, that cylindrical geometrical occupancy giving the advantage. So when we say space, you have to understand that spatial occupancy, spatial occupancy. So what geometry it is gaining, what kind of geometry and why? So what is the advantage of that spatial geometry? What is the advantage of that spatial occupancy? That you need to understand regarding any system. If you understand that, that's really good. Okay. So and the time. When I say time, definitely most of the people say time means it's in your watch. So what is in your watch is not at all time, and still we didn't understand what is time. Okay. So that is the reason why here time means you have to understand the dynamics of the system. The dynamics of the system. It has some mass which is occupying the space. It has some structural arrangement. Then it has some structural geometry occupying some space. Then whether it is a dynamic or static, if it is dynamic, how you are going to define its dynamism? So that is important. So that is mean by time. So if you are actually defining the dynamic nature of the system, that means if it is changing from one state to another state, from one position to another position. So state is the correct one. That may be any parametric state. So if it is changing the state, it is in dynamic state. Okay. So time means always you remember you are actually discussing about the dynamic state of your system. So whether your system is a dynamic or static, anyway you can explain. So that actually gives you some idea about your system. Next is the energy. When you say dynamic, how this dynamism is coming from? What is the source of this dynamic nature? What is the source of this space occupancy, particular geometry? What is the source of this structural arrangement? What is the source of this material? Okay. So for everything, there is an involvement of energy, especially dynamic nature. Okay. So that involves energy. You have to understand the energy flows in the system, energy requirements of the system. Especially we call it as energy flow only. Okay. So you have to understand the energy flow and consumptions of the system. That's what you are going to do in this particular Bio TRIZ. Next, information. Information is when you are understanding a problem or a system. Is that system information based? Information, definitely you know bits and bytes, and you know how sensors receive information and use them for different purposes. So information is, of course, you can understand with respect to bits and bytes, no problem. But information is nothing but the entity which is coming with respect to your experiences. Okay, what this particular system is accumulating within with respect to the events it is undergoing, experiences it is undergoing. That is called information. Okay, so you have to understand what kind of information it is giving out or it is having with it. Any system for that matter. That may be a stone. Okay, so any system for that matter, you can, if you consider that this system is giving some information, that means ejecting out. That means you are learning that. At the same time, are there any hidden informations it has? Okay, those things you have to observe, because those informations are most important, because that's what I told. Most of the biosystems are information based. That means through a long experience they build a system. Okay, that means through this long experience, through the time scale, what they are doing, they are gaining experience. What is mean by experience? The accumulated information in the path of the time is called information. The accumulated experiences, the accumulated information. Okay, so that is what the information. So these are the 6 important parameters as far as the Bio TRIZ is concerned. Or if you want to understand or analyze any system, understand or analyze any system, you can actually choose this Bio TRIZ method. That means instead of choosing 39 parameters, you are in a bio related or bio inspiration case or biosystems case, you are actually choosing only 6 parameters to understand the systems. Okay, so those 6 parameters I told already. Substance means which is giving it appearance, the massive mass of the bodies. Okay, the substance which is occupying the space. Then structure, how this mass is arranged. Then space, how this mass is actually occupying the space, that is called geometry. Then time, whether this particular object has any dynamism. Can I explain the dynamism in any way in this system? If that dynamism is there, if it is a dynamic system, how energy flows are happening in the system? If energy flow is happening, the management of energy flow, management of dynamics, management of the space, management of the structure, and management of the substance, how this management is happening based on its information it has. What is the hidden information it has to maintain all these things, to manage all these things? So information is the most important things. Again, I'm repeating, information means which is coming from outside and get gathered inside the system. That you remember always. Okay, so this information and data which is being gathered inside the system, that I call hidden information. That information is actually drive how a system is managing energy, how system managing its dynamic nature, how system managing its spatial occupancy, how system is managing its structural uh, structure, and how system is managing its substance. Everything depend on the information accumulated within the system. Okay, so that is about the TRIZ, Bio TRIZ contradiction matrix. In Bio TRIZ contradiction matrix, we are not going to use 39 parameters. Instead, we are going to use only 6 parameters. Other procedure is same. And inventive principles also same, 40. Okay, so that is keywords. Keywords are 40. Only thing is, whatever the problem you choose, whatever the system you choose, you have to understand that system with respect to these parameters, 6 parameters. It's a very deeper understanding. Once you understand that system with respect to these 6 parameters, then you can actually play with the conflicts. You can play with the conflicts. Okay, so if I create a conflict substance to substance in the same system, if I create a conflict between substance and substance, okay, so in that particular case only you are going to get the multi substance materials, multi substance systems. Okay, structure and substance, space and structure. So like this you can create a conflicts. Accordingly you can choose the principles. Suppose if I'm creating space to time, so space to time, that is 11929. So those principles will give you the solution direction. So with these three principles you have to make a solution statement. Again, same thing. Procedure is same. This is only a modified method or upgraded method. Okay. So, but you must know the TRIZ. Okay. Don't think that now that is 39 parameters are useless. Only 6 we will use. This is the higher end method. Understanding the system with respect to these 6 parameters means you are actually reaching the epitome of engineering. Okay. So that is a great skill. But if you understand that, that's why I'm clearly explaining, because a lot of misconceptions you have, this space, time, and information. So that's the reason why I clearly explained that. Substance means the entity which is occupying the space. You can call it as mass or anything, okay, which is occupying the space. Structure means how this mass is arranged, how the substance is arranged, surface, bulk, anything. And space means how the substance is occupying the space. What is the geometrical shape and what is the significance of that shape? Why that particular shape? Have you asked yourself any time that why this shape for human being? Okay. Next, time means time. Don't think of a usual what we call as time. Time means the system's dynamics you have to understand. At t is equal to 0, what is the system? T is equal to 1, what is the system? T is equal to 10, what is the system state? Okay, that you need to understand. After that, energy. So how this dynamic nature and structure and geometry are actually maintained? That is definitely maintained by energy. So how energy flows are happening within the system? That may be even stone, there is a energy flow channels. Am I right? So in summer, you see most of the stones become hot. So there is a energy flow channels. So that energy flows, energy related flow, you have to understand. Then information, which is most important thing, that is how the gathered information stored within the system and how that information is responsible for managing energy, time, space, structure, and substance. Okay, so that is what you need to remember. So with this perception, with these 6 parameters, if you start understanding the biosystems, and you will really become, or you will realize that you are going to see lot of surprises. Why that particular shape, why that particular geometry. So these all things will emerge out of your enthusiasm. So that you need to practice. So that is the upgradation. That's why I'm telling this is not alternative, it's upgraded to the normal TRIZ method. So that is about the Bio TRIZ method. So you can try on your problems. You can try on your problems. So that's another repetition of our this one. So this is the contradiction matrix. That's about the TRIZ method. With that, TRIZ part is over.